Okay, we're back with part 2 of Polaroid Notes Student Edition. And in this segment, I'm going to really break it down how you would create Polaroid notes. So the first slide that you see here gives you some basic steps to making that happen. You're going to use one Google Slides presentation for your big topic. So whatever your big topic is, you're going to have your title of your slides presentation is that big overarching topic. So let me give you an example. So when I go to the conferences, like I said earlier, my big overarching topic is the name of the conference. So my conference was TCEA 2020. That was the title of my presentations, my slides presentation. Then each slide within that presentation represented one session that I went to. So each slide had its own topic. So you only use one slide per topic or per subtopic. So that's the idea of the Google Slides presentation. You need to also make sure that your Google Slides presentation is set up correctly in the 8.5 by 11 format. So to do that, you would just go to File, Page Setup, Custom 8.5 by 11 to get your slides set up the right way. And then I just already said each slide represents a session or a topic. You're going to want to focus on the big ideas when you're taking your notes. You're not writing every single thing down. You are certainly not copying and pasting every single thing that you see from the internet. The idea is that you're going to synthesize the information, put it in your own words, and be really concise about putting it on the page. Because remember, these are one-page notes, one page per topic. So you want to make sure you only include the most important things, and then you link out to extra details. You link out either with links, hyperlinks, videos, and other articles or resources. You can add images the way that you make them look really nice, and this is really the part that's engaging to the audience. You want to add images, word art, color, symbols, shapes, and even video sometimes. You can also add audio into your Polaroid notes in Google Slides. So that's an option as well, and that'll really make your Polaroid notes pop. The beauty of Polaroid notes too is that they're shareable, like right away. You can share them because you're doing them digitally. And if you know anything about the Polaroid camera, I actually happen to have one right here. A Polaroid camera. This was like the camera that people had way back in like the 70s, maybe early 80s, and you would insert the film and then you take the picture and it automatically shoots the picture out, and then it takes a little time to develop, but you can take these pictures in an instant. So the name for Polaroid notes came about sort of because of the idea of the Polaroid camera, where you can take these notes and share them in an instant, just like you would with the Polaroid camera. Okay, so 7 tips. I have 7 tips for you just to kind of review some of the things that we've been talking about. 7 tips to help you Okay, so this next slide, I've labeled tools. And what it is basically are all of the tools in Google Slides that you can use to really make your Polaroid notes pop. Like we said earlier, you can use word art, different size fonts, different types of fonts, pictures, images, links. You could even throw an emoji on there if it was relevant and purposeful to your topic. Obviously, you want to remember the page setup is 8.5 by 11. Use shapes and different like shape borders. And then the thing that I would really like to point out is the word that's in these blocks at the bottom, insert. That word is very, very important with Google Slides. Insert is your best friend. Insert is the tool and the toolbar of Google Slides that you will use the most to be able to insert the things that you see on this page. Okay, and we'll look at that in part 3 of this series when I kind of start to demonstrate how to build Polaroid notes using Google Slides. Okay, so let's go to the next slide here. Let's kind of recap some things we've already talked about before I demonstrate in the template. 7 tips for creating Polaroid notes. Remember to focus on the big 3, the what is it, the define the topic, why is the topic important, give me the top reasons why it's beneficial, and then give me some hows, some examples, some anecdotes, anything that relates back to the topic to give it more like information, give the reader or audience more information about it, okay? And that could also include resources and tips and tricks. You want to stick to one page with your notes. Don't go over one page. It will defeat the purpose if you go over one page. So make sure each of your topics are limited to one page. Let me refer back to the students' Newton's Law. They were talking about Newton's laws, right? So they had 3 different laws. Instead of them trying to put all 3 laws onto one Polaroid notes, that would be way too much information. They split it up. They made one slides presentation, and each of Newton's laws was one slide, one Polaroid notes page, and that worked beautifully. You need to determine also if this is going to be an individual Polaroid notes page or if you're going to be working with a small group. If you're working with a group of classmates, then whoever creates the slides presentation needs to make sure they share it with the other members of the group and give them edit rights to edit that presentation so you guys can all build your notes in that one presentation. You also need to make sure that you share that slides presentation back with your teacher because she's going to need to have access to it in order to give you feedback and also to give you your grade, your final grade on the project if you're getting a grade on it. And I already mentioned earlier how important insert is, but I'll repeat it again. The insert tab in the toolbar in Slides is a really awesome tool. It's your best friend in Google Slides, and it'll help you make your notes pop. Use a variety of fonts. Don't use the same font for every single thing on the slide. That's really boring. Nobody wants to look at it. So use a variety of fonts, use a variety of colors. Try to connect the color back to the theme in some way of the topic. So there's a real good connection there. Share your notes with someone. Share it with your classmates. They can learn from you and you can learn from them. Share it with your teacher. Show your parents. And even, if it's something that's relevant to the world at the time, share it with the world. And there are all kinds of ways that you can share what you've been learning. And doing this digitally with Polaroid notes just allows you to do it in an instant. And always remember to cite your sources. You have to give credit to your sources and use credible, reliable sources. Don't just go to Google and find the first thing that pops up and use that for all of your research. Ask your teacher, ask your librarian. Your school librarian is a great resource for finding the best sources for you to get your information. Okay, that wraps up our part 2 of this video series, and I'll be right back with part 3 where I'm going to actually demonstrate using a template how to actually start to build a Polaroid notes page. Okay, stay tuned.